Yeah, hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday, our favorite day. So, I was just reading an article online, and it's about the baby boomers in America. And from those of you around the world who are not familiar with the term baby boomers, those are my parents' generation. That's the generation who famously in the movies, for the international people watching, they were the former hippies. The ones who you hear, they were the hippies who became the yuppies. They protested the Vietnam War. They had Woodstock. They had Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and the Eagles and the Rolling Stones and Steven Spielberg, John Williams, the composer. They're also the ones who you may read online who perpetrated gigantic financial fraud on Wall Street, who sort of send their children off to tons and tons of useless wars all over the world. That's gotten our country pretty hated out there in the international community. The baby boomer generation is characterized in America by the word hypocrisy. The boomers themselves say this, some of the more awake, alert, and aware ones, the ones who are able to, at this stage of their life, approaching 70, 75 years old, admit that, yes, there were devastating hypocrisies and gigantic lies in government and all these kind of things. And then there are the baby boomers who are the deniers, of course, both sides, who say, no, we're fantastic, everything was perfect. Okay, well, the reason I'm talking about this in relationship to our topic of life in the 21st century is because I carried around personally a lot of anger and frustration and resentment towards my parents' generation. And over the years, I've sort of made it my unofficial business to study the demographics, to study the trends, to study the markets, to study the policies. I wanted to answer the question, where did all this come from? Why did it happen? And where is it going? And also, how is it going to affect me and my friends, my family, my children? Like, what are the effects on planet Earth for people in my generation? I'm one of the older millennials born in the late 70s. So how are my parents' policies going to affect my life? I did a lot of reading, and I pulled up a lot of information. This is over years. And something hit me today as I'm reading an article. I woke up this morning early and I Googled something like baby boomers suck or baby boomers please retire. That's what it was. And I like to do this just to see what new articles pop up and whatnot. And I find this article and it's written by a woman boomer. She didn't say what her profession was. And it was just a very simple, succinct article that basically sort of listed out their major generational sins, the typical ones, useless wars and obsession with identity politics and, seeming lack of ability to solve practical problems in the now, today, and efficiently. All sorts of things like this, and she's listed them down. And I'm reading the comments, and there's all these frustrated, I get the sense that they're young people, people maybe your age or my brothers and sisters' age, and their comments are just angry and incensed and pissed off, and this makes perfect sense to me, of course. Why wouldn't they be? Based off the things, let me clarify that, based off of the communication tools and the technology that younger people have grown up with, and they've seen all this, and the emperor has no clothes now, that the curtain's been pulled back globally on all of these scams and frauds. Why wouldn't they be upset? Of course they were. But here's what hit me. This is the message for this video. What you got to do is, no matter how hard it is, and I'm talking to Americans here, especially to Americans for this one, actually, and I'm also talking to people around the world. These older folks who run things, yes, they're terrible. They are morally reprehensible human beings. I'm talking about the leadership. I'm not talking about the average working boomer. The average working boomer is a person just like me and you. They work, they pay bills, they do their best they can to put it together. And I bet if you polled most of them, they'd say they hate all this stuff too. What we see is what the elites propagate. It's what they tell us in the corporate media, so on and so forth. So, spiritually, what you got to try to do to be a good 21st century citizen and to make sure that you're maximizing your own happiness and mental well-being, because this stuff can take up a lot of bandwidth in your head. It's a big waste of time. You got to dig down deep and find compassion. And the reason why you need to find compassion for these people is because they really deserve it. Look at someone who, like 70 years old right now, right? Like the hated 70-year-old white man, like that billionaire in a room who's like, puppets. Ooh. Look at that guy. He's 70 years old. He's in that room. All he's trying to do is generate more and more and more money and money and money and power and wealth. How sad is that? Think about that. How sad for that guy. That's the summation of his life. And yeah, great. We all need money. Power feels good. I got the power. It feels wonderful. But in the final analysis, what is his life going to have really amounted to? I'll tell you what. The same as yours and mine. Exactly the same. The kids' comments that I read, and I get the sense that they're people like 10, 15 years younger than me, not because they're dumb, just the passion, the unbridled, like, I'm going to kill you. I get that sense. Could be wrong. I'm reading words on the internet, right? So I don't know. But what we have to do, we have to come to the revelation, the breakthrough. We have to see with clear eyes that the solution for our world is not going to come from them. It's a pyramid, right? Here's the pyramid, okay? See? Up at the top of the pyramid, right up here, pyramid. All the wealth and money and power is concentrated there. Guys, let me tell you something. They're never going to come down from their thrones, ever. And they're never going to say, we're sorry. We should have done it another way. God, we left you a really tough situation and that sucks. Hey, maybe we can help. What can we do? It's never going to happen. And this is what hit me today after years of studying this stuff. This one article made a click go off in my head, a huge breakthrough in my own studies of this stuff. And I realized, wait a minute. The answer is to empower younger people to realize that they are the creators of their world. I'm going to say that again. If you're a young person listening to me, listen very carefully. You are the creator of your world. These folks up here on the top of the pyramid, the truth is, they don't own anything. Okay, you might, whoa, you're crazy. They have papers. It documents the land they own, and they have bank accounts, and they have, yeah, great. They got all those things, but when I say they don't own anything, they don't own the space in between here and here. They don't own here. They don't own what comes out of here. You do. You own that. And those things, the thoughts in your mind, the passion in your heart, and your spoken word, combined with all your technology, your laptop, your phone, your tablet, all that stuff, that is your vehicle for self-expression and creativity. They still haven't found a way to make that illegal or take it away or regulate it. My liberation and my family's liberation from the massive corporate system was to start a business, a translation business. And I do business with corporations. And, I work with major universities and all this stuff. And I've told my clients my views. And some of them smile. They're like, okay. They don't know what to make of it because I'm a nice guy and I don't scream it at them. I'm just like, this is what I think. This is what I did. It's my choice. And I do think it's a great choice for younger people to realize that you do, in fact, have the tools, technology, and ability right now to start your own enterprise. In fact, I think it should be the project of people my age who would be like your big brothers, big sisters, big cousins type thing to help you advance your business as fast as possible. And I'm not necessarily talking about handing you money because that might not teach you anything. If you have a wealthy older brother or sister, they want to invest in you, that's great. I gave my brother a couple $100 to buy a t-shirt printing press machine. He's a really good artist. He makes cool t-shirts out of his house. And he does custom ones and he has hats and it's really cool. And I said, wow, I want to give him some money for that. So I did. And he's got the machine. And but that's my point. It's like my brother, he's a perfect example actually now that I think of it. He studied graphic arts, but he didn't know anything about making t-shirts. He's like, I want to do this. And he went online and he figured it out and he bought the machine and bada boom, he makes t-shirts. You can do that too. Never catch yourself saying, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have the knowledge. Remember what I said? Your thoughts, that's your thoughts, your words, your passion, your technology, that's your creative vehicle. If your thoughts start with, I can't, I won't, I don't, guess what's going to happen? Hello? That's what you'll get. This machine is like an input-output machine. What you put in here, what comes out here, will eventually pop up into your reality. It'll eventually pop up into your reality. I'm going to say that again. It will eventually pop up into your reality. This video started off a conversation between Nas and I last night, and we were talking, and he was in and out of the What's Up chat. He had stuff to do last night, but as we were closing off, it was like midnight for me, and I said, Nas, do you know what the greatest breakthrough available to human beings in the 21st century is? And he didn't answer me for 18 minutes, and I was like, all right, man, whatever. You know, I have this great breakthrough. You don't want to know? Fine, go play video games, whatever, dude. No, I'm just kidding. But the breakthrough is what I just shared with you. The breakthrough is that you, right now, don't need parental or church or governmental or professorial or sibling or significant other or my approval to start doing whatever you want as long as it's legal. I'm not sitting here advocating like go start growing marijuana in a field in a place you can't, or, you know, selling, machine guns. None of that. But take your skills and abilities, and like if you can make, what's this here? This is an air wick, air freshener, one of those inserts for it, right? That's the smelly liquid. If you can make a better one of these, do it. What else do I have here? Oh, let's see. Oh, I have this little cool piece of, this costs $2. This is lobster for Massachusetts, for New England. If you can create a better one of these, do it. Let's see, what other cool things do I have here? Last one of my favorites, a little commercial for Kiko Man soy sauce. I don't know if you guys have this in other parts of the world. This is a big favorite. This is the less sodium, reduced salt model for you paleo CrossFit people out there who think salt and sugar should get you banished to the 9th level of hell. That right there, if you can make a better bottle, make it cheaper material, all those kinds of things, those little tiny things. It sounds so stupid, but each one of those little innovations can amount to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, because that's what the big companies are out there looking for. And you can be your own little floating satellite spaceship. Like, that's how I look at my business. We have 5 people on our team. We're so fast. We're so agile. We're all over the Hispanic world and Boston, that we have so many feelers in so many different places. And that all got cultivated one step at a time. And it got cultivated, it got cultivated from that breakthrough that I just shared with you, that I had to believe, as the leader and owner of the business, I had to believe that it was possible to happen. And the more I believed, and the more I journal about it and think about it, and literally like will it into existence, like this will keep going, this will keep going. Look, I don't have evidence, spreadsheets and documentation that I can show you that's going to guarantee my business is going to work. You know what? I'm even going to try to get them. I don't care. Knowing those numbers does not help me. My sales team drives me crazy asking me about it. No, they know. I'm like, man. Funny story. True story. Henry Ford, the automobile guy, he, when Ford Motors was really running and kicking and going well for the first time, he hired this guy he knew to be his accountant. They were friends. And so Henry Ford liked him. He knew he was a great math guy, great numbers guy. Obviously, this is before Excel and all that sort of stuff. And so what would happen was the plants would produce X amount of cars per week or month, and they'd get recorded, and the revenue for sales would get recorded. And then Henry Ford would call his buddy, the head accountant, and all the other accountants into his study, and they'd sit around and have a brandy and a cigar and talk about, figures and facts and where can we go with this. And Henry Ford is famed as getting into arguments with this guy all the time. They fought. And what it usually went was like this. Henry Ford would come in and say, let's call the guy Bill. Bill, how's the numbers doing? How's the plant? And he'd go, well, sir, in the western quadrant of the thing, we have X number of, and then over here we have Y number of, and then Z. And Henry Ford would go, yup, okay, got it, great. And he'd go, what I want to do is I want to double output next year. And Bill would go, well, sir, that's just not, I just don't see how we're going to, and he'd go, Bill, I want to double output next year. And Bill would go, well, sir, it's just inconceivable to how are we going to... That conversation represents the push-pull dynamic in your own mind as an aspiring entrepreneur. You need a little bit of both. You need a little bit of Henry Ford's CEO, presidential, unwavering, like, just get this done, I don't care what you have to do mentality. And you need a little bit of Bill's nerdish, like, oh, the numbers. You need a combination. Problem with, the past generation. They became all about numbers. My father tells me all the time, he was a sales executive for Waterford Crystal, made a lot of money. He tells me all the time, he's like, Justin, he's like the bean counters, he calls them. That's all it became about, was some spreadsheet. Look where we are now. Look around. Think about what a spreadsheet is, all little columns. Think about all the political and economic decisions all day, every day, millions and billions of them that add up. Exponentially factor up into creating this financial catastrophe that we all live in. The bean counters alone, that mentality is not enough. You have to have the wisdom and discernment of the CEO, the power to put your business model out there, the faith to see it through, and then a little splash of nerd juice so you don't mess up your numbers. That's my theory anyway. And I guess one thing I'll say to wrap this up, we'll do a little recap in a sec here. I've always thought that the startup game, I'm in my 7th one right now. I've always sensed that the startup game is about like a ship on the ocean. And you're out there and you're floating around on the ocean and it's dark and you can't see the shore you left from and you can't see the shore that you're going to. So what do you do in moments like that? That's where you have to learn to master here, the space in here, and the space in here. The greatest control that you will ever have as a young person is not control over others. It's never that. People don't follow titles. They don't follow money. They don't follow just raw power. They don't follow those things. People follow bravery, integrity, honesty, courage, vision. Those are the backbones of leadership. When your little boat is out there on the ocean, whatever you choose to do, I don't care whether you want to make better shoelaces or you want to make better, what do we talk about? Airwick thingies? It doesn't matter to me what you want to produce or make or service you want to deliver. When you're out there doing it, what I want you to do is to remember, if you focus on the ocean, on the black, deep, dark, spooky, uncertain ocean, you're going to sink. Ocean's too big. It's been there before you. It's going to eat you alive if you obsess over it. What I want you to worry about is the breakthrough I taught you. I want you to worry about here, controlling in here. And we live in a day and age, and this is where my heart goes out to young people. You guys all born into the Twitter, what do you call it? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Vine, Snapchat, Tinder, whatever the frick. I don't even know what most of them do, to tell you the truth. I know Snapchat's cool. You take a little video. I don't have any use for it. It's the truth. My business does just fine without it. But you guys born into that stuff, it's like you never had a chance in some ways to learn some of these lessons. 'Cause I couldn't imagine being 12 and just thrust into I wore weird pants in the cafeteria and someone took a picture and it went viral and now I'm going to throw myself off a bridge. Like, stuff like this happens. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. It occurs to me as complete foolishness. Not you guys. You guys are great. The fact that it all exists, like the way it does and the way people use it to manipulate each other, it is the biggest bunch of cowardly, craven crap I've ever seen. Because in my day, when you had a problem with someone, you confronted them. You went up to them, you told them you had a problem, and you talked it out. That's gone. It's like, now I'm going to ruin your life by Snapchatting you. Like, please. It's sad. Anyway, little side rant there for you. Breakthrough. 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 Control the space in between here. Worry about your life. Worry about what's good for you. Try to produce what you love for the world, and it'll make the world a better place. And chances are, if you do it well enough, you'll make some good money in the process for yourself and be a very happy, fulfilled, and complete human being. So for right now, I'd like to sign off. I hope you have a wonderful start to your week. I'd like to hear your comments on the page below. Just add whatever you think. And remember, too, we have an email address attached to this, so you can always email us at justinpickeringSpeaks@gmail.com. So that's the word Justin, Justin, Pickering, Pickering, Speaks, Speaks, @gmail.com. justinpickeringSpeaks@gmail.com. Thanks very much, guys. Again, beautiful start to the week. Always love it when you join us, and I wish you the best in all your endeavors. Bye.